Phosphor Dot fans, Earl at thelogbook.com. Back on the Atari 2600, we are going to play a prototype game that is over 40 years old, but was only recently discovered. This is Sonar, which was being developed in-house at Atari by Brad Stewart, and it was never finished. According to him, it didn't get past the planning stage. What Brad was trying to accomplish with this game was a kind of video variation of the board game Battleship. However, he had to compensate for the fact that, of course, even with a two-player, and it is a two-player game, there is no AI here. So my demonstration of it is going to be somewhat limited since I don't have a second player. Unless Mercutio here wants to grab a joystick. The way the game works is that each player is on the same screen trying to find the other player's ships, which have been placed randomly. You don't get to, unlike Battleship, you don't get to place your ships. They have been scattered randomly around the board. You can't bomb your own ships. You try to find the other guy's ships and take them out. And that scores you points. There are different variations, like many other early Atari games, there are many variations which basically amount to slight rules modifications. In some versions, you have a limited number of depth charges. In some versions, you are docked points for dropping a depth charge that does not hit anything. And there are other variations that combine these things. Some of them, the game will not keep visual track of where you have dropped a depth charge. And there are some variations where there are mines that will cost you points rather than award you points. So I do believe some of the homebrew masterminds at Atari Age got hold of this and brought it to a playable state. And that is the version that I am working with here. So let's give it a shot. Okay. Now, this would have been a rarity in that it would have featured stereo sound. Which, quite frankly, a lot of the TVs that Atari video computer systems were hooked up to had no way to exploit that feature. If I had a second player, obviously, they could be scooting around the board. Oh, I think that was the Battleship. And it would just simply be a matter of who susses out the position of the other ships first. That's right, Mercutio. darkness, that's right. And ran out of time, but scored 100 points. Now, obviously, if you play a variation where you have a limited number of depth charges, you can't just carpet bomb the whole screen like that. And game's over. That's a really savage little variation. Let me pull up game 9, which brings mines into the game. And those will cost you points rather than award you points. Hit a mine. So that cost me 5 points. If keeping score in a video version of Battleship matters more to you than destroying the enemy fleet. Not many places left to hide. Oof. See, I could see where this would be fun with a second player, and this could be one of those great, all-time great, and yet stupid simple party games, kind of like Smithereens on the Odyssey 2, which is almost the simplest thing you can imagine. Okay, either I ran out of time or that bar is indicating that you have found, it's counting down all the units you have found or how many are left to find. Which I think actually it may be the latter. When the bar runs out, the game has been won. So, Sonar there, that's an interesting little game. I kind of wish that this had gotten finished. It's playable now, but in the hands of the person who had the game in his head, I think that would be the only way to find out what he was really shooting for.